I lately read a lot of articles and did my research about alcohol, specifically how bad it is and how reversed it's perceived in our society. If we were to question, like if you just ask anyone in the street and question how bad alcohol is compared to nicotine, cigarette, and let's say weed, then lots of people would put weed over cigarette and alcohol, and maybe alcohol would be the lowest, would be ranked at the lowest in terms of dangerousness and how harmful it is to humans, to us. And the truth is, like if you were to rate it, alcohol actually is as dangerous as cocaine in terms of addictiveness, and like not one serving like per serving, but like obviously, but like in long term, alcohol just does so much more damage to our brain, and it intoxicates immediately you take it, you consume it. So like I'm not here to spread awareness, but I personally think that most of people know, and they just simply ignore since it's the norm in our society. I genuinely believe that alcohol is one of the biggest and worst propaganda in our human history. It's embedded in our culture and society, and people just don't want to see it. People just don't want to look around and see how bad it is, like actually bad it is. They just say, "Oh, like it's just life. If you want to socialize it with others, or like if you're you know in a meeting with other corporate, other company corporate acquaintances, or how do we say, like workers, then you gotta have some, you gotta take it. That's the manner. That's how you respect each other. That's what I heard. That's what I used to listen to while growing up from my parents, my Korean parents. I'm not saying most of the Koreans are this way, but I think it has to do with the culture, like the age, their generation, and the age, and the culture that they had gone through. So so I have no, I'm not here to insult them. I'm not saying like they are wrong, but I guess like they just didn't really understand the impact of it. And I realized, like, one thing I just questioned to myself was like, am I actually doing this research out of curiosity, or like do I want to be different? Like it's something that I've been doing, but I didn't know how it was this bad. I haven't been drinking alcohol for like years, not because I was a drunk, alcohol addict back then, back in my hometown kind of thing. No, not at all. I just drank very occasionally with my friends and my parents, and just one day I just decided not to. It actually wasn't just one day. That's baloney. I had this drink with my dad and my brother, tequila. I was half drunk. I didn't lose any memory, but I just one thing I really clearly remember about that moment is that I wanted to say something that I usually wouldn't. Like I wanted to let all out, and the after that day, the morning, I like one thing I told myself was I'm never going to drink alcohol ever again, because I just hated that feeling just so badly. And after that, like as of now, I just it's since I don't even meet many friends, and it's just been out of my life for a very long time. It's never been with me, so I guess it's just really easy for me to just say you should quit it. You should quit drinking to those people who are enjoying it. And I perfectly 100% understand the environment that drinking gives you, especially if it's done between your close ones, your beloved ones. It's very warm, it's very warm, and it feels genuine. Every conversations and every phrases that you tell each other, banters and skits that you do with your friends, like feels so real, and you feel like you're in a movie. Every moment of it feels so good, like even after the, let's say, threat, or like drinking with your friend or friends, like they like apart each other, so we say, and get back to their places, and you have this kind of mood. Like I'm not saying I know it, but I feel like it's some kind of a feeling and experience that can be easily romanticized, that can be easily distorted. Because in reality, you ain't doing anything but just intoxicating yourself, you know. So, and just back to the main topic that I wanted to say is that I kind of thought that I looked up this kind of things, especially specifically for alcohol, just because it's something that I've been doing again, and I wanted to get some kind of approval, validation by doing my own research and actually finding the facts that it's really bad for you, for us, for me. And I've been kind of been dedicated, not been dedicated, like I haven't been drinking for a very long time in my life. So maybe I just needed another validation and recognition, from it. Maybe that's also a reason why I'm saying this out loud and in my own YouTube video. So like I looked up other things, like what are other things as bad as alcohol that many people just don't seem to realize, about many people would be doing, and we just don't really call it out, in society. And there were like a bunch of things, sleep. Obviously, I've been a huge advocate of sleep maxing. Like there's no such as sleep maxing. I just added act maxing at the end of the word sleep, obviously. But I just feel like, not like, in my opinion, 80%, 90% of your depression would be gone if you could sleep at 10 and wake up at 6. Like genuinely just having, like, everything just feels so overrated nowadays. Maybe even, hanging out with your friends, hitting off your goals, doing your own self improvement pursuits, kind of things are good. I wouldn't disagree, but it everything feels so overrated compared to a really good 8 hours long sleep and waking up at 6 a.m. By without alarm or anything. You just wake up by yourself, and in sleeping as well, you just fall asleep immediately, like in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I wish I could, but it's been pretty tough lately. It takes at least like 40 to an hour sometimes, because we usually don't I don't usually check the time. If it goes past as 30 minutes, then I immediately know, since I've been checking time of how long like it takes for me to sleep every single day. I've been tracking that before, but nowadays I don't. I realize how, like, it's just makes it even worse, for me to fall asleep earlier. So, there were like sleep, lack of magnesium kind of thing, protein, like, a sedentary life, sleep, having to sit in one position for like 8 hours is as bad as cigarette. So yeah, I just went out a couple of hours, um, for a couple of hours in the, how do we say, in the evening today as well, just because I wanted to, just move around and feel good about, breathing fresh air outside. Although there are so many cars around my area, like there aren't specifically a park nearby. Like I have to walk all the way up to this children's grand park. So I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Like going up alone when there are so many little kids and, family kind of thing. So anyway, I kind of sidetracked, and my point being, there are so many things that we are doing without even realizing, and most of the things that are really bad for us, like psychologically and physically and biologically, this there are little these things that are socially normalized nowadays. And in my opinion, I feel like alcohol will be alcohol and other little things will be seen as some kind of a drug. I mean, it's still treated as drug, but some kind of like a drug, like methane or cocaine, something like you people would perceive it as a hardcore drug in like a couple of hundreds of years. And they would see us as if, those parents, we how we see the older generations, like people in 90s, I mean 1910, 1920s, who gave opium to their children, without realizing how bad it is. I feel like people will see us just like that, just like how we see people from 100 years ago. And maybe I'm sure there are so many things I missed. Alcohol is just one example that I wanted to give. And I'm not saying like you should just quit it like as soon as possible. I know how hard it is. Like I have my own addictions, and I'm also enslaved by something. And it's although like it really sounds like hope if I say this, but I do believe that everyone's a slave of something else. I just realized it's a quote. It's a really famous quote, by Kenny in Attack on Titan, my favorite manga. And it sounds like hope because, like, yeah, everyone has their own addictions. Everyone has their own master, let's say, in their life, something that they are pursuing of, or something that they their emotion gets driven solely on that thing. It could be a person, it could be a thing, it could be an ideology, it could be faith, it could be anything, it could be status. But I wonder if you can level up from that phase. I wonder if something's I wish I could visually see, just like in games, or in just like, yeah, just like in games or books. Like, because if it's stated in the book, in by phrase, like by text, it means it's real. Like you have no doubt. But in real life, there's nothing such like that. It just moves on, it just goes. So everything that tells you wrong is the little voices inside your head that are very likely and are shaped by the society and how you were raised, and the people that you interact with every single day. If it's you, then you don't really you won't have that many chances of getting validated and getting confirmed by others, by the norms, society's norms, that whether or not your thoughts and ideologies are valid and objective, and like could be considered an objective ideology. So that's also one of the reasons why I personally don't like being isolated. That's such a contradicted statement that I could ever tell, but I'm trying my best to socialize lately. That's another thing that I'm trying to say. But yeah, so there are just these things that fogs my head every single time. Like there are no answers. There really are no answers but my feelings, and you just got to create your own. And as I said in my previous video, no, in my YouTube channel once, a couple of days ago, it feels like you really have to compromise your own beliefs to even do something, start on doing something. So maybe there are no answers. Maybe we are just operating and having these thoughts that we call fates and our own addictions. I'm I really and also one of the reasons why I say I wish I could see the life, I could see the world. I wish like there was something that tells us that it's wrong is wrong and good is good, and how, like this person, let's say like this monk, it has reached level 99, 999, and he's level 7 in intelligence, like the kind of things that you can just directly tell that you can level up in that. Like he's higher than me, so maybe in my philosophy is something like there's something wrong in my philosophy. But in real life, it just doesn't work that way. Like you can never tell if someone's having a high moral standard, or like if whether someone's faith might be similar to yours. So I think like that's the part where people get confused, including me, when they aren't doing something that they used to be doing, and they are familiar with, and they get to start on, and kind of they have to like focus on the thing, doing the thing, while constantly asking themselves whether or not like that's worth it or not, you know. So, and saying like it goes same for me. I discovered alcohol is really bad, and okay, I get it, but there there clearly are so many things that I'm doing to myself, like self-inflicted pains that I'm causing to myself. That's even worse than alcohol. You know, like drinking alcohol, obviously, biological sense would be much worse. But like for me, this one thing is doing much harm to me than, you know, them drinking alcohol. Maybe them drinking alcohol would intoxicate their physical body, and they would be fucked in 10 years. Maybe we will never know. But for me, like I can literally feel it, and it's like psychological damage that you cannot even say, like you cannot even tell. But if you're not feeling it, then it's just invisible. So so yeah, I'm kind of just circling the same idea. I feel like there are so many things that are normalized in this society that are just extremely bad, you know, that outright bad, but people just don't perceive it that way, since it's labeled as being part of a culture most of the times. And even on top of that, it's hard to objectively tell which is wrong, which is right and wrong in a world where there are so many things to follow and so many goods and bads. You can just simply doing some swipes and clicking on your phone, you can order a drug, or you know, you can do a bunch of things with your own phone. Like it's all in your hand, and it's sometimes really overwhelming. So I guess we should really be careful and be aware not to get eaten by it. That's about it in this video. Thank you for watching the video.